This is the home of the Qatar Foundation. It's a cultural, educational and scientific body founded by the wife of the country's ruler. It's invested hundreds of millions of dollars in projects from art galleries to research labs. But until a couple of years ago, few people outside the region had actually heard of it. But that all changed when the organisation's name was splashed across the shirts of perhaps the world's most famous football club. The red and blue stripes are sacred to the fans of Spain's Barcelona, and until a couple of years ago, no sponsor could pay to appear on the team's shirt. But when the club faced up to some commercial realities, it was Qatar, in the form of the Qatar Foundation, who bought the coveted space at a cost of a reported $40 million a year. But just 2 seasons into a 5-year contract, the Qatari government's taken the sponsorship away and passed it to Qatar Airways, a move that's seen as being far more business-driven.
The difference between Barcelona being sponsored by Qatar Airways and Barcelona being sponsored by Qatar Foundation is that Qatar Airways have something to sell. Qatar Airways are pushing their brand and pushing their product. Everybody that watches Barcelona, whether it be in Europe or the United States or in Asia, will watch a team playing, the best team in the world, playing with a Qatar Airways brand on their shirt. This is huge for Qatar Airways.
Buying sponsorship's one thing, buying a football club's quite another. And in 2011, sovereign wealth fund the Qatar Investment Authority did just that, buying Paris's only major football club, Paris Saint-Germain. And some say the rationale for these deals, as well as their winning World Cup bid, go far beyond sport.
Without a particular reason to differentiate Qatar, it will struggle. I think that's what Qatar's doing at the moment, trying to create a niche for themselves as a noted regional, perhaps even later on a world leader in certain aspects of sport branding. And why do they want to brand is the natural question. And I think that's essentially for economics and the basic sort of physical security as well. It strikes me that anonymity is not an advantageous quality. I mean, this is a region that's seen 3 wars in 3 decades. And I think that Qatar feels anything you can do to get yourself known, to boost your reputation, you know, it might help should something terrible befall the country.
The Gulf first got into European football club ownership 5 years ago, when Abu Dhabi's Sheikh Mansour bought England's Manchester City. Since then, the club spent more than $1 billion, mainly on player transfers and wages, and despite winning the Premier League for the first time in 44 years, it's still losing vast sums. Not put off, though, by football's notorious ability to drain money, other Gulf investors have been snapping up English clubs. Former European champions Nottingham Forest were last year bought by Kuwait's Al Hassawi family. And Dubai-based GFH Holdings has just paid about $75 million for Leeds United, another English club with heritage but a success-starved fan base. According to blogger and Middle East football expert James Dorsey, clubs do need to be wary about Gulf investment.
If the buyer is a sovereign wealth fund, or if the buyer is a key member of a royal family, then that works out very well for the club. If the buyer is a marginal member of a royal family or a businessman, it can go well. Most cases have not gone well. Look at Portsmouth in the UK, look at Malaga in Spain, look at Servette in Switzerland. In any acquisition that you look at who the acquiring party is. And the fact that he happens to come from the Gulf doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to be in your best interest.
Despite some failures, the Middle East's business links with football seem here to stay. And at this Manchester City football camp in Abu Dhabi, there's a generation of young players who know that when it comes to the sport they love, Gulf money is something you can't afford to miss.